cut that out!
Brainrot content has begun to run rampant on the internet in the last few years, flooding YouTube recommended pages with mindless filler that makes you feel like your brain is melting like the Wicked Witch of the West just by watching it. But hang on just a minute. Mindless content has been around on the internet for years, and not only that, a lot of it is looked at fondly. So what's the deal here? What exactly makes these two forms of content different? What exactly makes something brainrot? Well, let's talk about it. Hello everyone, hope you're all having a good day today, and welcome back to Mothman Media, where we're all just a weird clump of cells trying to make sense of a senseless world. Oh, but speaking of nonsense... Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of brainrot content out there these days, but it's especially been getting more and more out of hand in the last few years, especially during lockdown when people had no choice but to stay at home and veg online. It's gotten to the point where brainrot was even Oxford's 2024 Word of the Year. It's been getting pretty out of hand as of late. I've been scrolling through TikTok and seeing videos of people my age talking about how concerned they are with the rise of brainrot and the effects it's having on Gen Alpha and generations after. But the question remains, what exactly is brainrot? Now the problem with answering that is trying to classify internet humor into specific categories in the year of our Lord 2025 is about as challenging as dodging bad opinions by lonely men on Twitter. But even so, before we begin, I feel like we should try to find a definition of what could be considered brainrot. After looking around, I think the aforementioned Oxford University has a pretty good grip on what it entails. They define brainrot as the supposed deterioration of a person's mental or intellectual state, especially viewed as the result of overconsumption of material, now particularly online content, considered to be trivial or unchallenging. Also, something characterized as likely to lead to such deterioration. So basically, if you feel the wrinkles in your brain shriveling up like wet sponges in the nether after watching it, it's probably brainrot. But this brings up something interesting. If this definition is to be taken at face value, how is what's considered brainrot today any different from any of the memes and videos from years ago? Even though I've only been uploading videos on this channel for a short amount of time, I've been an avid YouTube viewer since the late 2000s, so I've seen my fair share of memes come and go. So if you're someone my age talking smack about how mindless content has become today, just remember that we grew up with stuff like this. But wait a second, why is it that content like this isn't considered brainrot, but this is? Well, I think I may have figured it out, and I believe that one of the biggest problems with brainrot, and what I've come to dislike the most about it, is the sheer lack of creativity and integrity that comes from its creators, and the fact that they're being rewarded by the YouTube algorithm for spitting out content at the pace that they do, regardless of quality. The goal is no longer to create good content, it's to make money, and lots of it. This is what I believe sets modern brainrot apart from the content of the past. To hopefully prove my point, let's take a look back in time, shall we? Even though it has had a steep incline in popularity with the rise of the internet, absurdist humor is far from a new concept. But over the last several years, absurdist humor has started to feel like the default setting for internet comedy. Now some of you may be thinking, well, how is that any different from brainrot? Well, I'm bringing this up because there's one key detail that sets this type of humor apart from brainrot, and that difference is, a lot of surrealist and absurdist humor still has some sort of substance and creativity to it. It's not just weird for the love of the game, it has a reason for being the way it is. Some of the best examples I can think of that displays this subgenre of humor effectively come from videos like these.
What is love? Fruit, no. Bread, no. Fruit and bread, probably not. Is it a conversation?
And hey, break alert, okay? Jesus Christ, that's what I mean.
You know what that means? It means I'm free.
No.
Even though its humor is presented in a unique and unconventional way, it still derives itself from a place of logic. It's weird and unique, but it still makes sense. It still has a solid foundation. Even a video like this still has a clear setup and punchline, however bizarre it may be. To take it even further, the whole concept of Vine was that each video had to be only 6 seconds long. Because of that, creators had to be creative and find ways to make it work by being clever and concise, with many finding a lot of success from it. Which has led to many of these Vines becoming iconic in their own right. Be honest with me now, how many of you have passed by a road work ahead sign and thought to yourselves, yeah, I sure hope it does? The fact that many of these videos have become iconic proves that you can have loud, short, boisterous videos that can not only be funny, but creative as well.
Story time. No matter how fast he ran, he could not escape the demon, but he would not let his soul be taken today!
Whereas a lot of Brainrot content is lacking the same creative foundation that these other videos are. I'm not saying that speaking 10,000 BC is some fancy schmancy high art or anything like that, but it at least has some level of substance to it. Whereas Brainrot, a lot of the time, feels like the visual equivalent of white noise. It may as well be somebody standing in front of the camera jingling keys in front of your face. Noise for the sake of noise without having anything to support it. It has the idea of what makes this type of comedy work, but not the foundation. It's like having a Krabby Patty without the secret ingredient, a Cadbury egg without the cream in the middle, or Lucky Charms without the marshmallows. It feels artificial and hollow. I mentioned in my last video that when animation moved away from theaters and more towards the small screens and limited animation techniques were created, some people began to turn away from animation and see it as a lesser version of itself. I can only wonder what those people would think now if you showed them something like Skibbity Toilet. Okay, I might actually lose a few people here, but hear me out. I don't think Skibbity Toilet is quite as bad as people think it is. That might be blasphemous to say, but let me speak my piece. While it may have started out like Brainrot, it actually has begun to evolve to be more than that. There's actually a plot line and characters and even has some pretty good animation quality. I'm not saying it's peak cinema or anything like that, but at the very least it has some stuff going for it. Or at the very least, when it's compared to... Content farms are what many people think of when they think of the term Brainrot, including myself. If you've been scrolling on YouTube for long enough, you'll probably know what these are. A lot of them produce short, bizarre videos that often include characters from pre-existing shows or films or games or anything else. Or worse, they rely on the use of... These channels and their content are specifically designed to create engagement with its audience, therefore exploiting the YouTube algorithm and boosting the video to more people, gaining as many views and making as much money as possible, with absolutely no regard for the quality, or in this case, lack of quality of the content that they're producing. What makes all of this retroactively worse is the fact that most of these content farms are specifically aiming their videos at children, who are much more likely to be baited into engaging with the video, which makes the fact that a lot of these videos also feature, well, let's just say, suggestive imagery and titles, makes this whole mess retroactively much worse. While putting out soulless content that smoothens your brain folds in real time is bad enough, doing it over and over again with no regard for quality and only caring about monetary gain from it is perhaps what I can't stand about Brainrot the most. Not just that these people are putting out meaningless filler, but just how absolutely shameless most of them are in doing so. It feels incredibly backwards that content as mindless, superficial, and dubious as this is able to have the level of success it does, while many other creators who put a lot of time and thought into their projects are only able to achieve a fraction of the success. All at the expense of the lowest common denominator of internet humor that's been clogging up everybody's YouTube pages. And unless some significant changes to the platform occur, the continuation of Brainrot content is going to be hard to stop. But I haven't lost all hope just yet. YouTube recently announced that they will be making changes to its policies that may do a lot to help with this problem. This new update will make it harder for channels that post quote-unquote inauthentic content to receive ad revenue, therefore making it much more difficult for Brainrot content farms to be profitable. This, as of right now, seems like a good change, Since this policy has only been introduced earlier this month at the time of recording this video, it's hard to judge just how effective it is right now, but I can only hope that this policy can make a difference. And if it does, we can continue to see changes like this, and that maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to solve the problem with brain rot content. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please consider subscribing. It's free, and I would really appreciate it if you would stick around for even just a little while. But that's all I have for now, but I hope I'll be seeing you all again real soon.